Hey guys, today I'm coming to you from the very southern part of Chile. This mountainous landscape of Patagonia has always been a dream of mine. And the area, specifically around Torres del Paine, had some huge conservation efforts, which is why we're going to track some pumas, or you might know them as mountain lions. I want to figure out for you whether it's worthwhile coming all this way down here for one specific animal. And if you wait till the end, you will see my photographs to check out whether such a single-minded photo mission is worthwhile. My name is Janine and I'm a professional wildlife photographer with Pangolin Photo Safaris. If you want to join our growing community of wildlife enthusiasts, please don't forget to subscribe right here so you never miss out on any of our trip videos, tutorials or tips ever again. Mountain lions exist in the entire Americas, but both the very southern part of the Andes mountain range as well as the Canadian Rockies are known to have the largest pumas around. In many cases, pumas are feared and often persecuted by farmers and city dwellers alike. However, like most cats, pumas are solitary animals and mostly keep to themselves. In the very southern part of Chile, some ranchers, or rather estancias, have recognized the value of protecting pumas on their land, mostly for tourism. This trend saw a massive uprise when Torres del Paine National Park officially stopped off-road puma tracking in 2015. The ranch we have chosen for our undertaking is lucky to share 3 borders with the park, which allows open wildlife migration and provides the most iconic backdrops for our photographs. The terrain is manageable on foot and open enough to be able to spot pumas. In order to reach our destination, we flew into Punta Arenas and took our time with a scenic drive north that allowed some wildlife sightings on its own, such as condors, armadillos, or even skunks. However, the airport of Puerto Natales is much closer to your destination. It doesn't offer as many flights and might therefore be more pricey. The special approach about tracking pumas on private estancias allows the photographer to follow the large cats on foot, providing us with a beautiful insight of their daily lives and behaviors. Either your designated puma tracker or your private guide will locate the puma in the landscape, and from there on you leave the comfort of a 4x4 vehicle to follow the puma on foot. Thereby, you usually start off at a distance and make your way as close as 30 meters to the puma. The animals are quite habituated to the sight of humans and completely ignore the onlookers while going about their business. As the animals have no measure of distance, they often pass the photographers very closely as they move throughout the Patagonian landscape. For most of my shots, I was using a 400mm f2.8 with a 1.4 extender on it. I was often grateful for the wide aperture as the loss of light is frequent with fast-moving clouds and changing weather conditions. However, it didn't allow me to pull back and include more backdrop as the magnificent landscape often demands. Guys, I'm not a landscape photographer. My forte is wildlife photography. But if you ignore this beautiful sunrise behind Torres del Paine, then you don't see beauty in nature. We're going to try our best to include some landscape photography as well. Guts was more flexible in that regard with his 100 to 500mm f7.1. As you track the pumas, it is easy enough to bring 2 bodies and lenses by using a small backpack or straps. My second body was a 24-70mm for landscapes. However, that lens often turned out to be too distant to show the well-camouflaged puma in its environment. My biggest regret was that I didn't bring a monopod or tripod like almost all other photographers. I felt it gave me an advantage whilst tracking and when needing quick adjustments. I was light on my feet and could quickly change angles. However, on windy days, I truly struggled holding my big fixed lens still enough for photography, let alone videos. Every group is looking for individual sightings with their guide, but will also help each other out and join up. For those reasons, we wouldn't bring groups larger than 5. Also, to make logistics possible within 2 cars. We're using the first morning light to try and track down some pumas together with our guide and our tracker. It's our first day. The landscape is stunning, but I can see it's quite challenging to try and find the pumas in this environment. So let's see how lucky we get. And lucky we got. We ended up seeing way more pumas and behavior than I ever anticipated in only 4 days. Thanks to our tracker as well as our guide, we were able to follow them trying to hunt, sunbathe, and rest against jaw-dropping landscapes, drinking, and even feeding. I never expected to see a solitary animal in company of other pumas. However, it seems that these mountain lions, while not thrilled, are often more tolerant towards each other. It is quite common that more experienced and skilled pumas will have to share their kill with other cats reluctantly. The only one not sharing is the male, who's easily 30% larger. The females are trying. She's trying to go for the kill. But they don't have a chance, even in stealth mode, once he took over the kill. While we were told that it is a bit early in the season to find cubs out and about with mum, we got incredibly lucky, as one of the very relaxed puma mothers brought her 2 cubs along to feed on the kill she made. It became obvious that pumas have much less predators than in Africa, as the little ones played for hours, carefree and with quite a distance to mum. Overall, I was in awe at their size, their grace, as well as how close they decided to approach the photographers. But I was equally surprised by the diversity of wildlife. We saw plenty of guanaco, the main prey of pumas in Patagonia, both in harems and individually. But there's also a phenomenal amount of bird life, including the famous condors, flamingos, caracaras, owls, and loads of songbirds. The area has foxes, hares, armadillos, and skunks, as well as rheas, which reminded me a lot of ostriches. Both the relentless wind as well as spiky and rough terrain requires the photographers to be fit. I couldn't believe the speed we needed to walk to keep up with a strolling or stalking cat, all whilst carrying our camera gear and always being ready. The weather conditions change rapidly, which allows for a lovely variety of different lights and dramatic skies. However, it means that one must always be ready for gusts of wind, rain, and even snow. We've been hiking a lot to follow these pumas, but sometimes you just gotta stop and take in this scenery. Look at that. If you're thinking about tracking pumas in Patagonia, you can literally do it all year round. The cats are territorial and always trackable. However, each season has its own advantages and disadvantages. We went in March, as it doesn't yet get too much rainfall and there's a small chance of already seeing cubs, especially small cubs. Well, I came here to figure out for you guys whether it is worthwhile to fly all the way down to Chile to find some pumas. After watching this video, you might have figured out already. If you are a nature enthusiast and you like big cats, this is the destination for you. Guts and I have gotten extremely lucky. But we believe if you give yourself at least 5 full days of puma tracking and you're willing to work for it, then you will at least be able to have the chance to get some of those experiences out here. And I believe in this landscape and these surroundings, it is absolutely phenomenal to watch this big cat in just perfectly natural environment. So I hope to see you here someday soon, maybe together with us, because this is a top destination. Bye bye.